Ever get that feeling like, you're get up and go, got up and went? Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we've all been there.
Oh, absolutely.
But we're not shying away from it today. No, sir. We were diving headfirst into the world of testosterone.
Let's do it.
Specifically, what happens as our levels start to, decline as we get a little older.
Yeah.
And more importantly, way more importantly, what you can actually do about it.
Right.
And to help us navigate this topic, we're using this really fascinating article from topnaturalhealth.com.
Great site.
They've even given us a promo code to share with you all, but we'll get to that a little bit later.
I'm looking forward to it.
So first things first, right? We got to lay the groundwork.
Yeah.
What exactly is testosterone? I think a lot of people, they just think, oh yeah, that's the gym hormone, right?
Right. Right. It's way more than that.
It's got to be more than that.
It really is. So testosterone, it's crucial. I mean, it impacts so much from building muscle, maintaining your energy levels throughout the day, and it even influences your mood. And it plays a role in your sex drive too.
Of course. Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Starting around, say, 30 years old, our bodies naturally start producing less of it.
Oh.
It's this gradual decline. You might not even notice it at first, but it definitely becomes more noticeable, I guess, after 50.
So I'm hearing gradual decline, but decline nonetheless.
Yeah.
That's why I guess recognizing the signals and recognizing them early on that's got to be key here.
Huge, yeah.
So let's talk about some of those signals. I was reading through this article, and they paint a pretty vivid picture of what low testosterone can actually feel like.
Yeah.
And it goes beyond just feeling tired or, I guess less than enthusiastic about certain
Are you sure I should?
certain activities. So what are we talking about here? What are some of the things that maybe we wouldn't even really think about?
Yeah, yeah. One that often gets overlooked is difficulty concentrating.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, sometimes it's called brain fog.
Okay.
And it can happen because testosterone, it plays a part in brain function, particularly in those areas that involve memory and focus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then another one is decreased motivation.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not feeling it.
Yeah. It's not just physical energy. It's like that drive.
Exactly. Yeah, that internal drive.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you've got those physical symptoms, too.
Right.
I mean, we can't ignore those. Testosterone, it's really important for something called protein synthesis. And that's just a fancy way of saying it helps your body build and repair muscle tissue.
Makes sense.
So when testosterone levels drop, it's harder to pack on muscle, and it's easier to lose the muscle you already have.
I see.
And then, you might also see an increase in body fat, especially around your midsection.
Really? So those extra, pounds that we might start to notice, that's not always just about diet and exercise.
It's not always the whole picture, no.
Yeah.
Because fat cells, especially the ones that tend to hang out in the abdominal area, those are hormonally active.
Oh, interesting. What does that mean exactly?
So those fat cells, they can actually mess with your hormone levels, including testosterone.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all connected.
Okay, I'm starting to get a better picture of how this all kind of, fits together.
Yeah.
But before we go any further, and before anyone starts self-diagnosing based on what we're talking about here, I do have to put this out there. If you're experiencing any of these symptoms, it's really important
absolutely.
to talk to your doctor.
100%.
First and foremost.
Your doctor is your first line of defense with this kind of thing.
Yeah.
They can run tests, figure out if your testosterone levels are actually low, and then discuss the best way to move forward. Because it is very individual.
Right.
It's not one size fits all.
So consider this like a jumping off point.
Exactly.
For a conversation.
Exactly.
With your healthcare provider.
Yeah. Think of it like a starting point.
Okay.
A springboard.
I like that.
Yeah.
So let's say you've had that chat with your doctor and you're, you want to explore ways to naturally increase your testosterone levels. This article from topnaturalhealth.com, they lay out some pretty interesting options. And I gotta say, some of these surprised me.
Yeah, it's really fascinating, some of the natural approaches that are out there.
Yeah.
And what's important to remember is that these natural approaches, they often work best when you combine them.
Oh, okay. So it's not just about picking one thing and sticking with it.
No, it's more like, think of it like, a single ingredient doesn't magically make a meal delicious.
Right.
It's that whole symphony of flavors and textures that come together and make a dish truly satisfying.
That's a great analogy. I like that.
Boosting testosterone naturally, it's kind of the same idea. It's about incorporating those small changes that all work together to kind of create that perfect environment within your body.
I like it. Okay, so we're talking ingredients, or in
Right.
this case, maybe supplements.
Right.
And one that really caught my eye was this D-aspartic acid.
Okay.
It sounds a little, I don't know,
It
intense.
does sound a little intimidating,
Yeah.
D-aspartic acid, but it's really not that complicated. It's an amino acid, and there's some research out there that suggests that it could help your body produce more luteinizing hormone and follicle-stimulating hormone.
Okay, and those are important. Why?
Well, those are the hormones that essentially tell your testes to make more testosterone.
Oh, okay, so it's a chain reaction.
Yeah.
This D-aspartic acid is kind of like the first domino.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It kicks off that whole process.
Okay, interesting.
Now, I do have to add a little disclaimer here. The research on D-aspartic acid, it's still ongoing.
Sure.
And while there are definitely some studies that look really promising, others, they're not quite as conclusive.
Okay, so, more research is always a good thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. More research is always welcome.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, this next one, a little more familiar. I think zinc.
Okay.
Had no idea this was connected to testosterone.
I think a lot of people don't. Yeah. Zinc is one of those minerals that's like essential for a whole bunch of bodily functions, and testosterone production is no exception. Here's the thing, though zinc deficiency, it's actually more common than you might think,
Really?
especially as men get older.
Hmm.
And so when your body is low on zinc, it can impact how efficiently it produces testosterone.
Interesting. The article mentioned oysters as being a good source of zinc. Are there other options, though? Because
Oh, of course. You don't have to eat oysters every day.
okay, good.
There are plenty of other foods that are packed with zinc, like beef, pumpkin seeds, lentils, even dark chocolate.
Wait, hold on. Dark chocolate for higher testosterone. Come on. That's a health recommendation I can get behind.
Right.
Okay. This next one sounds like something straight out of a fantasy novel. Ashwagandha.
Right.
Laughing.
I know, right?
What is this?
It's got that like mystical ring to it,
Yeah.
but it's actually a real thing.
Okay.
Ashwagandha is it's been used in Ayurvedic medicine for centuries,
Wow.
and it's what's known as an adaptogen. Basically, it means that it helps your body deal with stress.
Okay.
And that's really important when we're talking about testosterone because stress is a major, major testosterone killer.
Stress is bad in general, but I didn't realize it was connected to this.
Oh, yeah, big time. So when we're stressed out, our bodies pump out cortisol. That's the stress hormone, right?
Right.
Elevated cortisol levels, they can actually suppress testosterone production.
Oh, wow.
It's like they're fighting each other.
So ashwagandha, it kind of helps keep those stress hormones in check,
Exactly.
giving testosterone a fighting chance.
Exactly. And there's also, some evidence to suggest that ashwagandha might even have some added benefits like improving sleep quality, maybe even boosting exercise performance a little. But again, we always need more research.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so moderation is key. And as always, talk to your doctor. And speaking of doctors, before we move on too far, we got to throw out this reminder. We're talking about supplements here. These aren't like miracle cures or anything, right?
Oh, no, absolutely not. They can be helpful, as part of a holistic approach.
Right.
But it's absolutely crucial to talk to your doctor before you start taking anything new, especially if you're already on medication.
Right.
You don't want those things interacting in a bad way.
Safety first. Okay, so we've got our supplement game plan, but let's shift gears a little bit here. Let's talk about lifestyle factors.
Yeah.
Because that's something we really have a lot of control over.
Right. Absolutely.
And the article talks about the importance of exercise.
yeah.
But it's not just about, hitting the gym, right?
Yeah, you're right. Not all exercise is created equal, especially when it comes to boosting testosterone.
Okay, so what kind of workouts should we be focusing on?
Well, the article highlights two types of exercise that are particularly beneficial: weightlifting and high-intensity interval training, or HIIT, as it's commonly called.
HIIT. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sensing a theme here of pushing limits.
A little.
Laughing. So why are these types of exercise so effective?
So weightlifting, especially when you focus on compound movements, and those are the ones that work multiple muscle groups at the same time.
Give me an example of that.
Yeah, so think like squats, deadlifts, bench presses, those are the big ones.
Okay.
Those types of exercises, they send a really powerful signal to your body to crank up that testosterone production.
Really, just from doing those movements?
It's like you're telling your body, hey, We need to build and repair some serious muscle tissue here.
Makes sense. So more muscle mass, more testosterone.
Pretty much. And then HIIT, even short bursts of really intense exercise, mixed with those short recovery periods, those can be surprisingly effective at bumping up those testosterone levels.
Really? Even if it's not for that long?
Even if it's not for that long.
Yeah.
HIIT workouts, they create what's called a significant metabolic disturbance.
Okay, now we're getting into some technical terms. What does that mean exactly?
It's basically like hitting the reset button on your body at a cellular level. And that metabolic stress, it triggers this whole cascade of hormonal responses,
Wow.
including an increase in, you guessed it, testosterone production.
It's amazing how our bodies work, Emmy.
It really is.
Okay. So we've got weightlifting, we've got HIIT. The article also mentions that too much endurance training might not be the best for testosterone levels.
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive.
It does.
Because we usually think about endurance athletes as the epitome of fitness.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, endurance training is fantastic for your heart, your overall fitness. It's just that if you overdo it, it can actually lead to lower testosterone. It's about finding that sweet spot.
Finding that balance. I feel like we're hearing that a lot today.
Yeah, balance is key with a lot of this stuff.
Okay, so we've got our exercise strategies down. What about those other lifestyle factors the article mentions? It's not all about hitting the gym, right? We talked about other lifestyle factors too. What else stands out?
Well, maintaining a healthy weight, that's huge. There's actually a strong correlation between obesity and lower testosterone.
Okay, that makes sense. But what's the connection there? Like how does carrying those extra pounds actually, impact testosterone?
So it all comes down to hormones and how our bodies process them, right?
Okay.
Fat cells, especially those pesky ones that like to hang around the abdominal area, they produce an enzyme called aromatase.
Aromatase, okay.
Yeah.
Not familiar with that one.
Yeah, it's not exactly a household name.
No.
But here's why it's important. Aromatase, it converts testosterone into estrogen.
Oh, interesting.
So when you've got a higher percentage of body fat, you're creating an environment where more of that valuable testosterone is being transformed into estrogen.
Ah, so it's like we're tipping the scales in the wrong direction.
Exactly. And that imbalance, it can lead to, a whole cascade of effects: less energy, decreased muscle mass, even mood swings. Maintaining a healthy weight, it's not just about appearances. It's really about optimizing your hormonal health.
Okay, yeah, that definitely makes it more than just a cosmetic thing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right. Adding that to my to-do list right now as we speak. Maintain a healthy weight.
Check.
What else can we do?
Don't underestimate sleep. Oh, yeah. Your body, it does its best work while you're catching those Z's. And that includes testosterone production.
I mean, I love sleep as much as the next guy, but what's the connection there?
So your body, it actually churns out the majority of its testosterone while you're sleeping.
Really?
Yeah, especially during those deep sleep cycles.
Interesting.
And when you're sleep deprived, you're not getting enough of that deep sleep, your body it doesn't have a chance to replenish those testosterone levels like it needs to.
So those late nights, those are doing me more harm than I thought.
Well, let's just say that getting those 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep on a regular basis, it's like giving your body that VIP treatment for testosterone production. Okay. I'm hearing you. I got to be more mindful about my sleep schedule. We've covered supplements, exercise, sleep. The article also mentions stress management. I feel like we hear a lot about stress these days, but what's the link specifically to testosterone?
It's a big one. And we kind of touched on this earlier when we were talking about ashwagandha.
Right.
That whole stress response in your body, it's a major culprit. So chronic stress, it leads to elevated cortisol, that stress hormone. And as we discussed, that can really mess with testosterone production. It's like they're on opposite teams.
So it's not just about feeling better mentally, it's about protecting those testosterone levels too. 100%. And the cool thing about stress management is that it can be different for everyone. Some people, they swear by meditation. Some people, it's yoga. Maybe it's spending time in nature, listening to music, whatever works for you.
Yeah. Finding those things that help you unwind.
Exactly. Unwind, de-stress. That's the key.
I love that, we're talking about a very individualized approach here.
Yeah, it should be. It's not one size fits all.
It's about finding what works for you, what you can actually stick with.
Exactly. Building those sustainable habits.
Love that. Well, I feel like we covered a lot of ground today. We talked about the importance of testosterone, how to even recognize those signs that maybe your levels are low, and then most importantly, those natural ways to give your body a boost everything from supplements to exercise to lifestyle changes.
Yeah, it's really about giving you the knowledge to talk to your doctor and be proactive about your health.
And speaking of taking action, if you want to learn more about those specific supplements, those ingredients we were talking about, don't forget to check out topnaturalhealth.com. They were nice enough to offer our listeners a special promo code. Be sure to check the show notes for that.
Yeah, and as always, chat with your doctor before starting any new supplement regimen.
Absolutely. Safety first. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive, everyone. It's time to get out there and reclaim your roar. We'll see you next time.